James, and tonight's game is World of Horror. Let's begin. This looks like a nice color scheme. Okay, we beat we beat Initiate last time. Let's go with Cultist. Random timeline. Quick play. City of Shiokawa, Japan, 1980X. Something strange is happening in our town. Robed figures can be seen gathering in the woods at night. People are going missing. Disgusting creatures are terrorizing the seaside. The rapid technological progress of the modern era brings comfort, but also new, unknown threats. Old gods, malicious eldritch beings who ruled the earth eons ago, are awakening as reality starts to crumble. Armed with clues, spells, and your dwindling sanity, you investigate mysteries across the city and in realms beyond. An old train slows down and stops at its last station. The end of the world is at hand, and you've finally arrived in the doomed town. Here we go again. The Eternal Web. Kathak Atarasu is once again awakening from its slumber. Blinded by its impossible to satisfy hunger, it has started to tear down the walls of its cocoon prison. Stop it before it devours us all. Old gods rule. You can't escape from combat encounters. Backstory, medical history. All unlocked perk cards, randomized item statistics. Medical history. Brittle bones run in your family, and you've spent each summer in a cast. You start with an extra experience in bandages, but an injury may occur whenever the player takes damage in combat. Well, let's try to avoid taking damage then. We have a medical kit, no spells, a discharge summary, we can discard for experience. Let's do that. No allies. Nothing in the town status. Let's continue. This city is changing so fast you can barely recognize it anymore. Choose up to 2 different additional actions per location for this playthrough. Randomize. You check your mailbox. It's empty. Library notes. Let's start with that. Is it going to rain? Start using this. Mind Drain. You can't find anything useful in the notes, you throw them away. Aside from Mind Drain, which deals 5 damage regains 2 reason at the cost of losing 1 max. Better than nothing. Demolition of an old inner-city shrine has resulted in an array of unfortunate accidents and, most recently, the death of 6 people suspected of arson. More experience. Captain, teacher's pet, gym clothes, vanity jacket, Sakhalin. I think I like the captain outfit best. Someone is standing in the shadow, watching your door. Okay, now let's see what we have. Inexplicable and morbid events have been plaguing your town for some time now. You've marked down 5 of them, hoping that there is something connecting them. You can tackle these 5 mysteries in any order you want. Beware, your decisions will haunt you and influence yet unsolved mysteries. Sorrowful Saga of the Moonlight Sailors. Horrible History of Household Hell. Okay, that's one that gets a note. Macabre Memoir of Morbid Mermaids. Bizarre Brute of the Blood-Curdling Botanist. And Restless Rumors of a Residential Recluse. That's a new one. Let's see. Let's go with the Moonlight Sailors first. And there's the note for those of you who are sensitive to such things. Sorrowful Saga of the Moonlight Sailors. It began with one fisherman who dragged something truly awful from the belly of the ocean, a dark writhing ooze that mesmerized him beyond control. He hid himself away for a week, adoring it, not to be seen until one moonlit night when a young girl spotted his boat drifting away. A single lantern swinging at the helm, and the captivated fisherman singing eerily to his catch. Now more and more fishermen have begun to find the vile ooze in their nets, and one by one they are disappearing. Soon the ocean will have taken them all. You start your investigation, hoping to overhear some rumors at the fish market. Okay, let's grab our prepare first. You rummage through your belongings, trying to find anything that will help you. You finally pick up Aiko's plush toy. Hopefully it will be enough. +5 Doom. Slot C. -1 incoming combat damage. -2 perception, -2 luck. Yeah, that sounds useful with medical history. They are not real, they are not real, they are not real. Okay, let's go shopping. Okay, steak knife is useful. Backpack, too. Irreplaceable in travel. Could fit a lot in here. Allows 2 additional inventory slots. The video store clerk insists you take a look at this weird tape he got. He won't take no for an answer. It's hazy, but you can make out a woman bound by ropes and suspended in mid-air. She's surrounded by hooded figures. Are they cutting her? Perception. Success. It's difficult to sit through, but you try to focus. Eventually, you recognize the symbol they're carving into her stomach. The cult must have wanted you to see this tape. -5 Doom. Although you brave the stench for hours, you glean nothing besides the fact that the fisherman had a wife. Perhaps you should pay her a visit. Oh, you know what? Could probably use some more cash. Shopping again. Bottle of milk, that's useful. And an empty bottle, also useful. Exhausted. The investigation is starting to take a toll on your health. You feel like you're about to fall asleep standing up. How do you address your weakened state? Strength. Success. This quick exercise helps clear your mind. +1 reason. When you arrive at the fisherman's house, it stands long vacated. Peering in through the dusty window, you recoil in shock. Let's discard that one. You enter the art workshop. The room is cluttered with half-finished sculptures and bizarre masks hanging on the wall. One sculpture strikes you as eerily realistic. One mask looks similar to the design you once saw in an occult book. You decide to take it with you, plus one item. Found a new item. Torch. You couldn't find the nets and hooks prepared for the big hunt. What you did find was a huge bonfire in the middle of the beach. You take a burning branch with you to light your way. Okay, this is a perception weapon. Is worse than our steak knife. It is, however, a light source, which is going to be useful in another one, probably. The fisherman's wife lies in the kitchen, mutilated and covered with black marks. Dark forces scheme against you. You don't know who you can trust anymore. Gained a curse. Hunger. They look tasty. Surely someone else must have caught one of these. You lurk around, hoping to spot one of them. The ocean is hungry. You're stopped by a person with a knife. You look incredibly sad. He wants me, but I'm afraid I'm too much of a coward to do it myself. Can you help me? Charisma, failure. Unable to convince the person, you close your eyes as they jump off the cliff. The young man has glassy eyes and mumbles his replies as he caresses his catch. The beating movements of his arms disturb you. This is us, Aiko. Takahashi! You hear a chipper voice shout during a jog around the area. You turn your head to see another one of your teammates in casual clothes, smiling, blissfully unaware of everything going on. What's up, Captain? Notice anything weird recently? Charisma, success. She tilts her head and presses a finger to her chin, thinking hard. Then, with a tiny "Oh!" she begins telling you a strange story from the other day, plus 10 experience. After a slow interrogation, the young man manages to stutter out something about an organized fishing trip. Weird ducts. Scratching and faint banging noise can be heard from the air-conditioning ducts. Rats, maybe? First you thought the noises were made by rats, but rats don't whisper. You slip out at night and race towards the beach, terrified of what comes next. full moon shines bright in the cloudless night sky. The ink-black ocean waves glimmer eerily, while the residents have drawn their shutters tight and walked through doors. Their footsteps are silent in the sand. The only audible sounds are your ragged breathing and pounding heartbeat. You arrive at the water's edge, breathless. Possessed fishermen's boats fill the horizon with their light. Tiny yellow spots navigating across a dark ocean under a dark sky. You cannot make out the figures on board. The whole section of the beach is black with ooze, slowly engulfing the bodies of the missing sailors. Right in the middle of it stands a lone figure. When he stops you, the ooze stops undulating for a second, before rapidly moving towards you, leaving the half-eaten corpses behind. Whatever the sailors caught in the sea is here. Tonight is your only chance to stop it. The Seeping Apostle. Okay, we can get off 4 attacks, each of which does 2. For 2 strong attacks, each of which does 3. Let's save that. Can't run from this encounter. Actually, with medical history, we need to add some defense to this, too. So, 1 dodge. Yeah, that looks good. It's probably the best sequence we can get here. Let's do it. Missed. Stabbed. Sleeping Apostle. The Seeping Apostle attacks you. But doesn't seem to have done any damage, which is good. It's doing damage, but not inflicting injuries. Black Goose starts climbing up your legs. It's fracturing them. Or, no, fractured ribs is what happened. -1 dexterity. Took her strong attack with it. just about there. Defeated the Seeping Apostle. It was definitely a close call, too close for your liking. You are sure the newspapers will report on the goo, soon to dry up and look just like volcanic ash by tomorrow. Tonight, however, all you're thinking about is a hot bath. Sorrowful Saga of the Moonlight Sailors, Ending C. Knowledge is key, 30 experience. Thorough investigation, 15 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. Tireless, +1 reason and stamina. 1 day passes. Cheaper items, I guess that's the best we can get. And let's boost dexterity. The old god stirs. Roads closed. Roads leading out of town were closed by the police. You'll have to find a new way out. Let's take a drink. A bottle of milk, Moo Moo brand. Tasty milk. Head home. Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing there? Back in your home, you think of your next move. You are not currently investigating any weird mystery. Okay, can we do anything about this? It's a minor injury. A minor earthquake in the seaside region has revealed an entrance to a partially flooded cavern system. Local scientists believe some of the corridors could be man-made. Someone is standing in the shadow, watching the door. Bath time. Fill a bottle with water. And cold water helps you to organize your thoughts. Let's try this one. Horrible History of Household Hell. There are many old mansions around this town. Manor is one of them. Supposedly haunted by a family of 4 who disappeared without a trace one summer. Is it the only tragic event that took place there? Let's investigate. Friends you've talked with are not sure where the mansion itself is located. You have to find the mansion first. A trip to the library may shed some light on it. History Club. Haven't seen that one before. Why would this popular student join this weird club? The history of this region is just fascinating. Why don't you discover it for yourself? Firearm attacks are easier. Use for that. Invisibility. No use for that since Kathaka Atarasu means we can't escape combat anyway. Ritual Mask. Small chance of ignoring reason loss in combat. Nah. Trip to the library. The air here is noticeably colder. +1 doom. You bump into one of your teammates in the gym. Hey, Takahashi, he says, looking over with her brows furrowed. Oh. Hey, it looks like someone has commented over on YouTube. Hi. Hey, Takahashi, she says, looking over with you with her brows furrowed. Are you doing okay? You've been acting really weird lately. You look super tired. Shouldn't burden her with everything that's going on, but... Luck. Success. You hesitate, but after a deep breath, you tell her what's really going on. Shockingly, she believes you and wants to help. You try to convince her that you're fine on your own, but she's clearly made up her mind. You feel guilty letting her get involved, but you know she'll be a big help. Gained an ally, Aiko's friend. She's always had my back. Allows one additional inventory slot. She's carrying an empty bag. Aiko's friend looks around. Did you hear that? Never mind. The building was supposed to be somewhere near the cliffs. You copy the mansion's photo from the newspaper and prepare to leave. Her path is blocked by a rotting corpse covered in poison ivy. Suta-chan. Okay. 2 aims and 2 attack. 2 attacks with 2 aims each. Missed twice. Dodged. Hit twice. Dodged. Pseudotron attacks. Pseudotron whips you with a vine. Comparing different mansions with the sketch, you finally find the one. There's only one problem. You will need a strong rope to enter the mansion through the high window. You spot a woman on the beach and decide to get closer and ask what she is doing alone at this late hour. When the woman turns around, you stop. Her mouth is opening and shutting, gulping in air as if it was unnatural to her. In her large eyes, there's only rage. Coy woman. Coy one slaps you. You sustained a new injury. Broken nose. Resting is less effective. Coy one slaps you. You sustained a new injury. Coughing blood. -2 dexterity. Should I be worried? That's enough injuries to be worth a visit to the nurse. Younger students are afraid of her. Why? Gee, I wonder. Sorry, dear. A patient is here. I'll call you back, says the nurse as she's eyeing you up. How can I help you today? All your minor injuries are treated. Coin flip of fate. You discover a large rotting trunk covered in rusted chains. As you approach, the bonds break and a large sandstone disc catapults out, covered in hieroglyphics. Seems to be seeking you out. Heads. Walk failure. With a crash, the disc lands tail side up. All light bleeds from the room, and you are racked with despair. Wonder what kind of animal the spider caught in its web. You scare away the annoyed predator and rip open the cocoon to reveal a human finger. And there's 2 reasons, +1 item. A rock ring. Which increases strength, decreases maximum reason. Keep looking for a key. Tower window. The round window of the Crooked Manor Tower is calling you. You feel your strength drain drain away as you stare at the bright light. Charisma failure. You don't have the strength to move a finger. The blinding lights grow larger and larger. To your shock, you can't feel the ground under your feet. -1 reason. Lost in time and space, you drift in nothingness until something pulls you towards the light. The temperature the boreal expanse in the other world. The temperature abruptly drops and you shudder in the icy cold. You find yourself in the middle of a snowy wasteland. A sudden gust flings you to your knees. You inhale deeply, feeling your chest tighten and ache. Your fingers and ears are already numb and freezing. You have to move. Strength. Success. The frozen guard corpses, standing on eternal guard duty, find you worthy. The usurper king kindly decides to share his forbidden knowledge with you. +30 experience, -3 reason. New injury, frostbite, -2 strength. The investigation is taking a toll on you. You start to miss the most obvious leads. +4 duty. In the middle of a room, you see a man tied to a chair. You rush in to help. When you remove his gag, though, the man starts shouting curses and ancient prophecies. You fall onto the floor, your mind flooded with unspeakable images as the man slowly stands up, completely ignoring the chair he was seemingly tied to. A cult member. This one does doom damage. He can't injure us further. So 5 strikes. Cult member shouts ancient curses. Sustained a new injury, badly bleeding. Feel weak. Wait, what's that? Curious statuette. +1 knowledge while in inventory. Looks like one of the previous owners of this mansion liked to read. Dusty tomes reach the ceiling. You don't have much time, but maybe you could spare a minute to look through the books. Knowledge failure. The notes lying on the table look like the ramblings of a madman. While trying to understand them, you read a passage aloud. Nothing happens, but you suddenly feel watched. You leave the reading room quietly. You heard a weird noise coming from the locked study. You must find a key. Trying. Twisted reflection. In the mirror, you catch a glimpse of something that shouldn't be there. +2 doom. Keep looking for a key. You find a heavy tome wrapped in moth-eaten black velvet in an old locked cabinet. When you read the book's wrappings, you recoil in disgust. It's bound in human flesh. Grabbing a book, you cut yourself on a rusty nail driven through the cover. +1 injury. What is it this time? Exposed ribs. How the heck did we manage to cut ourselves that badly on a nail? Anyway, got library notes out of it. Forbidden knowledge cauterize. Potentially useful. Torn flesh closes, stopping bleeding. This must be the place where the key is. You feel watched. You retreat from the room. -2 reason. You will die at the beginning of your next encounter. That encounter was the final straw. Your mind has snapped. You've been locked up in an asylum. It would be comforting to accept that you were insane, but no old god is awakening to devour humanity. But the drugs haven't made these horrors disappear. You've perished. Cause of death, reason loss. Level 2, difficulty, cultist. Solved 1 mystery, saw 1 new event, encountered 4 new enemies, no new achievements. And I'm going to take a quick break for the moment. let's try another one. I think we've still got time. City of Shiokawa, Japan, 1980X. Something strange is happening in our town. Robed figures can be seen gathering in the woods at night. People are going missing. Disgusting creatures are terrorizing the seaside. The rapid technological progress of the modern era brings comfort, but also new unknown threats. Old gods, malicious eldritch beings who ruled the earth eons ago, are awakening as reality starts to crumble. Armed with clues, spells, and your dwindling sanity, you'll investigate mysteries across the city, and in realms beyond. An old train slows down and stops at its last station. The end of the world is at hand, and you finally arrived in the doomed town. The thing forsaken by God. Banished to the other dimension a long time ago, Goizo has found a way to use mirrors to ensnare and teleport its prey straight through reflective glass. The glimpses behind your reflections are just the beginning of a real nightmare. Resting at home increases doom. Backstory: World of Horror. Character exclusive, perk cards only. Kunfa Ritual. When your allies die, a random stat gets increased by 1. Costs 2 reason. Check your mailbox. It's empty. Okay. No items. 1 spell. Facing Goizo, whose mirror horror increases doom penalties. Local dentist has been found guilty of implanting dog teeth on their human patients. Motive is currently unknown. Someone is standing in the shadow, watching your door. It'd be nice if we started with a bottle, but... Okay, nothing in the drawer that time. Weird. Is it going to rain? I'm standing in the shadow. Inexplicable and morbid events have been plaguing the town for some time now. Marked down 5 of them, hoping that there is something connected. You can tackle these 5 mysteries in any order you want. Beware, your decisions will haunt you and influence yet unsolved mysteries. Nightmare news of the noisy nails, another unknown. Restless rumors of a residential recluse. Freaky feature of found footage. sorrowful saga of the Moonlight Sailors. Bloody brief of a beckoning bulletin. Noisy nails. The morbid killing spree continues as another body is found in the city's river. Every victim shares one common trait. Their finger and toenails are missing. They've been pried off. Why nails? Did the killer have a hidden motive? Are they sending a message? You must hurry up before they claim another victim. Okay, that's... So... One possibility is that Shiokawa used to be named Hinamizawa, but I'm guessing that's not it. With no leads, a trip to the police station could be useful. Your friend's cousin works there and she could help you. Time is of the essence, so you decide to take a shortcut through the abandoned building site. If I'm remembering right, the camera is useful for one of the mysteries. We may as well prepare to. You rummage through your belongings to find anything that will help you. You finally pick up Kyrie's bag. Hopefully it will be enough. +5 doom. While in inventory, forgetting spells lowers reason by 1 to 2. Increases doom by 1, and gains a random spell, full of knowledge. I've been collecting these notes for quite some time now. Camera. 1 knowledge. Flash combat action adds a chance to dodge the incoming attack. Potentially useful. Trying to find old newspapers in the public library archives. You mistakenly open a door to a small office. It's dark and there is a girl slouching over her desk. Yet you could swear her computer screen moved. Perception. Success. You try switching on the lights. Computer screen turns dark and she suddenly wakes up. You notice faint traces of blood on her hands, but she doesn't seem to remember how it happened. +5 experience. Reluctantly, your friend's cousin gives you a photocopied file. You thank her and leave quickly. The school building seems like a safe place to study the file. feel the gaze of a librarian. Many of the books you can find here were donated after the accident at the university building. Interpreting the old, incomplete translations is a tedious task. Finally, you find the fragment you were looking for. Spell Evil, -6 Doom. One-time use only, costs 2 stamina. Potentially useful. Seal of Savash. +1 strength, costs 4 reason. And then Abolish. Lowers Eldritch enemy damage by 1, costs 3 stamina. Place it Shadow Shroud. For the duration of this mystery, ignore the location's threat level. For 3 reason. You enter the kitchen. Even though it's abandoned and the lights are off, something is cooking in a large pot. You don't like the smell of it. Perception, success. You rummage through the drawers and pick up the sharpest looking knife you can find. Yeah, that's going to be useful. The victims of the serial killer seem to be chosen randomly. There's no obvious pattern in regard to age, sex, and education. You should continue your search in a hospital where the victims are. Nails. You're stopped by a tall man wearing a dirty kabuki mask. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Give me your fingers. You hesitate, seeing something metallic in the man's hand. Dexterity failure. You try to run, but trip and fall to the ground. The masked man jumps on you and rips off a couple of your nails with a pair of pliers. Why? -2 stamina. You try to sneak into the mortuary, but the hospital staff is on high alert. You decide to wait here a bit. Maybe you'll manage to find a way in. As part of therapy, some patients took part in art classes. Some of their work fills you with dread, -2 reason. One of the mortuary technicians acts strangely. He has left the building and returned twice already. Each time he comes back, an ambulance with a new victim arrives. Can't shake off the feeling that you are being watched, -2 reason. You notice that the man keeps his hospital key in a back pocket. If you could steal it, entering the hospital would be much easier. And he's always watching. Lovesick Corner. They say a ghost of a heartbroken boy appears on the street at night. Is it just an urban legend, or is there some truth to this tale? Strength failure. You plan to wait the entire night, observing the spot where the supposed ghost would appear. You fall asleep. You wake up on a cold bench, your entire body aching badly. -1 stamina. Oh, I'm sorry. You excuse yourself after bumping into the man. He frowns and hurries away, not noticing that you've managed to steal his hospital keys. Pale woman wearing a nurse outfit stops you. Today, we are running a blood drive to help those in need. You look healthy. Would you be so kind and help the community? Luck. Success. You feel like they took more blood than they should. You feel weak but fulfilled, knowing you are helping. -2 stamina, -3 doom. It's getting dark and the suspicious man has not returned yet. Now is your only chance to check out the mortuary and learn about the serial killer's victims. Using the hospital key, you've managed to enter the mortuary floor unnoticed. The hospital floor is eerily quiet. You prepare your weapon, wondering what's going to happen next. The whole room has a pungent, irritating smell you can barely stand. All the dissection tables are empty. You're afraid to think where the bodies are now. You must hurry up before the suspected killer returns back. The masked man jumps from behind the door and you barely dodge his blade. I can't let you leave this room. Are you going to become his last victim? Kabuki, the desperate father. Take a photo with flash. Disorienting the enemy. Aseo Shiraishi lost his daughter in an accident. Now he is determined to do anything to bring her back. Get 3 swipes with the steak knife for 9 damage. 2 heavy swipes for 8. The Kabuki killer stabs you with his knife. The Kabuki killer kicks you in your leg. He's only got 1 left. The dreaded Kabuki killer finally falls to the ground, dead. You alert the hospital staff, and soon the whole floor is swarming with police. After a brief interrogation, you're free to go. 2 questions still remain. What did the killer do with the nails of his victims? And who broke the mortuary's window and fled before the cops arrived? Knowledge is key, 30 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. Tireless, 1 reason and stamina. 1 day passes. Old God stirs. Did the water level suddenly increase, or is our city slowly sinking? Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing there? A minor earthquake in the seaside region has revealed an entrance to a partially flooded cavern system. Local scientists believe that some of the corridors could be man-made. What's that? Probably just my imagination. Okay, definitely needs stamina. Hot water. Hot water helps with your sore muscles, +1 stamina. Restless rumors of a residential recluse. While you don't get much normalcy in your life these days, today was supposed to be just that. You'd been planning to take today to de-stress before your next investigation. Instead, you awoke to find yourself trapped inside your own apartment. The walls have grown over the door and windows, leaving no exit. Looking through the peephole, you yell and call out to passing neighbors, but your cries fall on deaf ears. Who could have done this to you? More importantly, how are you going to get out of here? The windows are covered in a thick layer of drywall, leaving only shallow cavities. The front door isn't much better. There must be some way out, right? Run into clogged drain. Apartment. Night. When you go to use the bathroom, you notice there's a clump of hair clogging up the sink drain. You're certain that it's not yours. Luck. Success. You tug the strand up out of the drain, only to find a few coins tied to the end of the hair. You pocket the money and try not to think about it. You spend all of your time searching your apartment for a way out, but you're already getting exhausted. Front door. Wallpaper and paint have spread around the door's edges. No matter how hard you try, the door refuses to budge. Visitor. Loud knocking wakes you up in the middle of the night. "Open up!" shouts the deep voice from behind the door. "I know you're there!" Dexterity failure. Before you can answer, the door's letterbox suddenly opens and an unknown invader tries to look inside. You lurch back in shock. The man sees you and tries to get in, screaming curses the whole time. A neighbor calls the police and the attacker escapes from your apartment building. -2 reason. Your sleep schedule is starting to drift. The hours just seem to slip past you. The day is over before you know it. As As you prepare a bath, you think about all the possible leads so far. You're very tired, so maybe ice-cold water is a good idea. The hot bath is so inviting that you've spent an extra hour in it, plus one doom. You've read all your books and watched all of your VHS tapes 3 times over. God, you miss people. You wonder just how much things are changing out there without you around. Nothing else. You're at least safer in here than out there. You don't see anything in the hallway today. Just whoever's staring there watching, and seems to be holding something. You still change clothes every day, but is there any point if you're not going outside? Your pantry is starting to run out of easy meals, and you don't have the energy to cook. Kind of donation. You find an envelope lying on a pillow in your bedroom. Inside is cash and a note from someone who has been watching you. They wish you luck in your task and promise to meet you soon. Just how did this envelope end up in your bedroom? Plus 2 funds, minus 1 reason. You're running out of ways to keep yourself busy. The boredom makes you want to beat your head against a wall. You can't see outside anymore. Just standing in here makes you lightheaded. The bed is too tempting. You shouldn't stay long. Something guides your hand. What is this? Stuffed toy. Remove a curse. You don't have the energy to keep searching. Bath. The investigation can wait. A hot bath is too inviting. Wait, mansion? You bathe happily and continue with newfound strength. Plus 1 reason. Your mind is hazy. It's all blurring together. You just want to sleep. You're beginning to doubt the store will ever open again. It's better that way. What were you doing again? You don't have much of an appetite. The apartment cradles you gently in your sleep every night, keeping you warm within her rib cage. When you stop by home to pick up your lunch, you find a pile of letters in your mailbox. What's that? You've attracted the attention of something truly evil. As you get closer, you notice thin cracks in the wall above the bed. Something dark, glistening red, pulsates inside. The cracks move like lips, and the apartment whispers to you. Just lay down. You hear wooden support beams creak as the walls flex, reaching towards you from all sides. And let me take care of you. wall opens even further, deeper. The girl lies curled up inside of the apartment's womb. I just want you to be safe here. What did I do? Why won't you just stay? Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. 3 claps, 2 bows, in some order. Okay. 3 of them were right last time. 3 of them were right this time. I'm not sure how that makes any sense, but... Okay, that did it. Clap, clap, bow, clap, bow. Ghost connection. Completing a mystery grants a random spell. And... let's see, what would be a good one to boost? I'm gonna say dexterity. And let's see, what spells do we have that would be useful? Protective carvings. Current spell limit is 4. The girl's face twists oddly. The apartment's pulsating innards slow to a still. The girl mouths something you can't make out. She smiles. You fall unconscious. When you awaken, you're laying in the apartment entryway, beside the open door. The next morning, you see a silhouette on the balcony, staring out at Shiokawa and watching the sunrise. You blink, and she's gone. After that, you never see her again. And after that, your apartment becomes just an apartment. Restless rumors of a residential recluse. Ending A. Knowledge is key. 30 experience. There's still hope. -3 doom. Tireless. 1 reason, 1 stamina. Time passes. 1 day. Ghost connection. You learn something new. With more and more students going missing, the police have restricted access to the school's building. Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing in there? Demolition of an old inner-city shrine has resulted in an array of unfortunate accidents, and most recently, the death of 6 people suspected of arson. Okay, need more reason, definitely. Transfer girl. Kyrie. Casual shirt. 60s. Teen witch. WZ86. Smooth teen witch. Someone is standing in the shadow, watching your door. Freaky feature of found footage, sorrowful saga of the Moonlight Sailors, or bloody brief of a beckoning bulletin. Began with one fisherman, who dragged something truly awful from the belly of the ocean. A dark, writhing ooze that mesmerized him beyond control. He hid himself away for a week, adoring it, not to be seen until one moonlit night, when a young girl spotted his boat drifting away. A single lantern swinging at the helm, and the captivated fisherman singing eerily to his catch. Now more and more fishermen have begun to find the vile ooze in their nets, and one by one they are disappearing. Soon the ocean will have taken them all. You know what? Let's rest. A lot. Take a short nap on your bed. You phone your best friend and talk about unrelated stuff. Plus 2 stamina and reason. Time flies by so fast. You prepare yourself to leave and continue your long investigation. Plus 5 doom. And again. You bandage up the fresh wounds. You phone your best friend and talk about unrelated stuff. One more. Swallow the painkillers. Phone your best friend and talk about unrelated stuff. Okay. That is decent. You start your investigation, hoping to overhear some rumors at the fish market. May as well do this. Active rituals, protective carvings. -1 damage received. Carve the protective symbols on your chest and arms. Learned a new spell, Enthrallment. May as well. Hiroyuki. Mizutani. Mysterious janitor. Completing a mystery regains 1 stamina. Truth seeker. Did you hear that? Never mind. Okay. Shop for items. Gem. It feels cold in your hand, but what is it? Vibrates slightly in your hand. Bottled milk. Can't discard it. another bottle of milk. And discard the second empty bottle. You find a huge pile of nets and hooks prepared for the big hunt. You quickly throw them into the ocean. Maybe that'll stop them from sailing out. You start your investigation, hoping to overhear some rumors at the fish market. The investigation is starting to take a toll on your health. You feel like you're about to fall asleep standing up. How do you address your weakened state? Take a nap. The world may be falling apart, but you really needed that. +1 stamina and reason, +2 doom. Although you braved the stench for hours, you gleaned nothing besides the fact the fisherman had a wife. Perhaps you should pay her a visit. You were planning out your next steps, about you thinking about everything that needs to be done, and then everything that could happen. Every awful thing that's already happened, and now all you can think about is just how scary and horrible things are. This is one of our events. Charisma, success. You shuffle off somewhere you won't be noticed, and let the tears gush out. Eventually, you shakily get to your feet. You don't feel too great, but for now, at least it's out of your system. +3 reason. When you arrive at the fisherman's house, it stands long vacated. Peering in through the dusty window, you recoil in shock. Find a heavy tome wrapped in moth-eaten black velvet in an old locked cabinet. When you remove the book's wrappings, you recoil in disgust. It's bound in human flesh. You may never know what's inside the hideous book. But that's a good thing. -3 doom. The fisherman's wife lies in the kitchen, mutilated and covered with black marks. You enter a room full of wooden statues. You're amazed by how realistic some of them look. So realistic, in fact, that you could have sworn one of them blinked. Killer vampire living in the walls. Killer vampire hisses. Enemy regains health. Surely someone else must have caught one of these. You lurk around, hoping to spot one of them. Flooded areas make it harder to navigate. Gained a new status, Drenched. All combat actions are slower, till the end of the current mystery. Your wet clothes stick to your skin, slowing you down. The town's docks are a mix of modern warehouses, small shops, and bars where the alternative crowd gathers. An ancient wooden temple occupies the small hill at the town's center. Doesn't matter if you believe or not, the smell of burning incense and old wood calms you down. Plus 2 reason. The young man has glassy eyes, and mumbles his replies as he caresses his catch. The beating movements of his arms disturb you. Suddenly, the air around you begins to whirl. A supernatural wave of freezing wind is approaching. Strength failure. Blizzard chills you to the bone and disappears as quickly as it began. -2 stamina. After a slow interrogation, the young man manages to stutter out something about an organized fishing trip. Scratching, faint banging noise can be heard coming from the air conditioning ducts. At first you thought the noises were made by rats, but rats don't whisper. -10 experience. You slip out at night and race towards the beach, terrified of what comes next. The full moon shines bright in the cloudless night sky. The ink-black ocean waves glimmer eerily. All the residents have drawn their shutters tight and locked their doors. Their footsteps are silent in the sand. The only audible sounds are your ragged breathing and pounding heartbeat. You arrive at the water's edge, breathless. The possessed fishermen's boats fill the horizon with their light. Tiny yellow spots navigating across a dark ocean under a dark sky. You cannot make out the figures on board. It's not the sailors. The black beings must have left their bodies. Shocked, you watch them sail their way out of the harbor. You are terrified at their power, but relieved that they did not drag their meat puppets with them. The black beings never returned, yet mothers would not let their children play on the beach. Over time, people forgot the last time they saw a boat out on the waves, although some claim they see strange beings come into the port at night. Sorrowful Saga of the Moonlight Sailors, Ending A. Knowledge is key, +30 experience. Thorough investigation, +15 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. 1 day passes. Ghost connection, you learn something new. Regeneration. Hiroyuki, +1 stamina. Regeneration, trade 2 reason for 4 stamina. Not a good deal at the moment. Arcane Grasp seems useful. And you know what? Could probably use some strength. Blood Moon. The crimson moon spotted over Shiokawa keeps everyone on the edge. All enemies get additional 20 power. Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing for? Some of our readers report a strange tall man, dressed in white, taking the metro after dark, apparently stalking lone passengers. Please take care and avoid traveling alone. Okay. Grab a bottle. You don't see anything weird. Fill the bottle. Regain some reason. And let's keep going. Freaky feature of found footage. 3 students disappeared in the process of making a documentary about local folklore and legends of the nearby forest. Now, on the first anniversary of their disappearance, a suspicious man has started asking questions. He claims to be a private investigator, hired by the parents of the students. Except the parents of your friends didn't hire him. Who is he, and what did the students discover out there? 3 students disappeared in the process of making a documentary about the local folklore. Maybe you'll find a clue about their last known whereabouts in the school's newspaper. I wonder if the history club has anything since. Patina ring. This is dexterity at the cost of max stamina. Grow teeth. And folklore studies. Yeah. The air here is noticeably colder. +1 dew. The woman bumps into you as she runs from a beauty parlor. Before you can say anything, you notice her face. She's carved out her own eyes. I can't see it, she cries. It can't see me. Hurt. You shudder, seeing a faint vision of Goiza reflected in the beauty parlor's mirrors. -2 stamina. The notes mention a village not far from your town. You decide to take a bus. Getting closer, you can't help but notice a large number of trees that have suddenly died. What happened here? It's getting dark as you arrive at the cemetery, and shadows move in fantastic and unaccountable ways between the tombstones. Finding the right grave may prove to be a challenge, especially when you feel someone's gaze on your back. Perception, success. You quickly find the tombstone marked with red string. Under a stone you find a note someone left for you. 5 experience. Everyone in the village is unsettlingly friendly. An old farmer points you to an old stone. The missing group supposedly started their forest trip there. The whole building begins to shake as you enter the room. Suddenly, a stone pillar bursts through the floor where you stood just seconds ago. Noticing the arcane symbols painted on the stone, you take a step closer. Knowledge, success. You recognize some of the symbols from a stone tablet you saw at the museum. What's the connection? 10 experience. Seamstress story. There's a local legend about a heartbroken seamstress. One stormy night, she broke into a local inn and stitched the unsuspecting guests together. Her final, gruesome artwork. But that's just a legend, right? Perception, success. On the sewing machine, you spot a strange engraving. When you get closer to investigate, your mind is flooded with forbidden knowledge. You leave the room quickly. +1 spell. Seal of Savage. The legends say the witch was buried alive for kidnapping and murdering 2 children. Points you in a specific direction, potentially saving you some time. This one costs reason. Let's clear up the slot. Everyone in the village is unsettlingly friendly. An old farmer points you to an old stone. The missing group supposedly started their forest trip there. New seal appears on your scene. You had no idea that the funeral you've been invited to would end with the guests slashing their hands to feed the deceased with their blood. You stay at the back, shocked by how grotesque it is. Suddenly, the guests turn their heads in your direction. It's your turn now. Charisma, failure. The mourners don't take no for an answer, and forcibly draw your blood. -2 stamina. Looking back one last time, you continue deeper into the woods. The group must be there somewhere. Dropping tree branches hang over the path, framing it in an almost macabre way. It's almost inspiring. Get a grip. Quicken your pace and leave the menacing path. -1 reason. Trapped dog. In the forest, you hear faint whimpering in the distance. When you find it, you discover a wild dog caught by its hind leg in a bear trap. The dog growls menacingly when you get closer. Luck, failure. You free the dog, but the rusty mechanism snaps and the trap closes on your hand. -2 stamina. All the paths look the same. Are you lost? A sudden storm forces you to find shelter in a nearby cave. Looking around, you discover strange markings on the cave's walls. Knowledge success. You recognize the strange symbols and connect them to the horrors plaguing your town. +5 experience. You have a feeling someone is following you. Another Goizo event. Your reflection twists and shimmers when you're not looking at it directly. Goizo is getting closer. Curse. Masochistic. Regain 1 reason at the start of each enemy encounter. -2 max reason. Site of the ritual. The rumored witch house seems empty. In the basement, however, you find a camera pointed at a large hole in the ground. On the table next to the camera, you see 3 cassettes, each titled after one of the missing friends. Then you hear a curious sound coming from the hole. You kneel down and lean forward to see what's inside the hole. takes a while to process what you're looking at. Its gigantic eyes staring right at you. Hypnotized, you continue to lean in, feeling weaker and weaker as the gargantuan beast lures you in. At the very last moment, the suspicious tall man grabs you by the collar. He explains he is part of a cult protecting the house and the mysterious entity below it. "You've got a bigger purpose than to die here," he says before knocking you out. You wake up a few hours later on a bus heading back to your town. Freaky feature of found footage, ending B. The forest is restless. Knowledge is key, 30 experience. 50, thorough investigation, 15 experience. There's still hope, -3 doom. Tireless, 1 reason and stamina. 1 day passes. Ghost connection, you learn something new. Hiroyuki, +1 stamina. The old god stirs. A weird epidemic keeps staff at the hospital busy. Skipping the line will cost you more. Treatment and surgery actions cost more. Inside your mailbox, you find a small key. What is it doing in there? You're shocked at what she did. Her voice was always so calm. What's that? Probably just my imagination. Alright, need the bottle for that one. Let's do reason. Because we'll grab the bottle anyway. Okay, just one mystery left, the beckoning bulletin. Bloody brief of a beckoning bulletin. As the decades roll on, technology has only developed further. These days, computer bulletin board software allows computers to communicate over phone lines. All it takes is a computer and a modem. Anybody can connect to a bulletin system, or even host one of their own. Once you connect, you can read all of the messages on that bulletin and even post your own to start a conversation. Many use them to share files or to chat about their favorite topics. Everything from video games to sports to idol culture. In the wake of a sudden string of weird suicides, things aren't all fun and games. Rumors have surfaced that the deaths are linked to a bulletin system operated from somewhere within Shiokawa. What is behind the suicides? How could so many people all be driven to take their own lives? Even if the rumored bulletin system's phone number is found, there is no hope to investigate without a computer that can connect to it. Maybe the school library has one that will work. Stand in the middle of a baseball field, built back when the school had a team. It's slowly become overgrown, and students only go here to study or relax. Suddenly, something feels very wrong about this place, but you can't quite put your finger on it yet. Perception success. Someone has drawn a weird occult symbol on the sand patch. Quickly erase it with a branch, and instantly feel a wave of relief washing over you. -2 doom. While the school's library's computer doesn't have a modem, you happen to bump into a member of the computer club while asking around. She apparently just got a new system and is willing to let you borrow hers. Thanking her, you arranged to meet at her home in the city. Stop right there! You hear a voice coming from behind you. You won't destroy my life's work! Obsessed man. The obsessed man punches you. The enemy roars in rage. Your health is dropped too low. You will die at the beginning of your next encounter. Resisting the unknown horror was taking its toll on your health. Weakened, you finally succumb to your injuries, alone. As the dust settles upon your open eyes, reality starts to crumble. The old god is ready to return once more. Perished. Cause of death, stamina loss. Solved 4 mysteries, saw 2 new events, encountered 4 new enemies, unlocked 1 new achievement. Wonder what the new achievement was. Scholar, maybe? Research 5 spells in a single game? Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. I have been James, and the game has been World of Horror. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch me play some more, please subscribe. Thank you, and good night.